Hi, it's Edward, back with another video. Please take a moment to click the thumbs up button below and consider subscribing to the channel. Thank you for your support. I often drive by some of these neighborhoods built in the past 20 years or so, and a lot of the homes look terrible. Some of these homes have entry-level builder-grade 3-tab shingles, and a lot of those shingles are missing on the homes. Many of the screens are flapping in the wind. A lot of the trim boards are rotting away. It's really sad. So it begs the question, are modern homes built as well as homes of the past? I decided to do a deep dive, and I looked at a Reddit forum titled, "Are New Builds Really All That Bad?" I'm going to share some of the comments with you because they were really interesting. One of the commenters said, "New builds are terrible. Old homes are a minefield. Never trust a flip. Don't buy something that's not livable. Condos are a trap. Single-family homes are never-ending problems. Buy now or you'll regret it for the rest of your life." Well, this person has some sarcasm. There are a lot of people that believed that narrative in the past couple of years. Some people purchased near the top of the housing market. And there are individuals right now who are living to regret it. Some may have lost their job and need to relocate to another city, but they can't sell their home for what they paid. But they can't afford to bring money to closing to get out of their home, so they're trapped. New builds are terrible. I'm sure some are. There are a lot of builders that focus on profit, and they try to hire the cheapest subcontractors that they can. Old homes are a minefield? Well, depending on what you buy, they could be. Always get a good home inspector. And you might want to even bring in a licensed plumber, a licensed electrician, and an HVAC specialist, because they might catch things that your home inspector misses. Condos are a trap? Well, there are some people, especially in Florida near the coasts, that are finding this out firsthand. Some of these folks are getting hit with some very expensive special assessments. The next commenter said, "I don't like new builds because they're all built to feel like oversized apartments, very stale. Custom homes are different, of course, but that's typically another price point. Plus, they're mostly on land and lots that have all the trees and mature growth removed. It takes a lot of years to get those neighborhoods back to looking nice." Well, I agree with this person. A lot of these new builds do look stale. I'm really over the gray vinyl plank flooring and the light gray walls and the white trim. Eventually, people are going to cringe when they walk into a home that was built in 2020 to 2025 with all that gray. Eventually, that's going to be like walking into a home from the 1970s with green and orange shag carpeting. Another commenter said, "If you're considering new construction, remember that no matter what the builder or their sales agent tells you, you have a right to have a third-party inspector come out and take a look at the property before you close." Well, I would take this one step further. If I were building a new home, I would hire a home inspector that specializes in new builds. And I would have that individual look at the construction prior to the foundation being poured. I would also have the inspector look at the property before they button up the inside with drywall to make sure everything in the framed walls looks acceptable. Then I would have this individual look at the property prior to closing and test all of the systems in the home, including the electrical and the plumbing and the HVAC. I'd want to make sure I'm getting good flow to all of the different rooms. The next commenter said, "Poor HVAC load calculations, poor flashing around windows and wherever else flashing is required, and usually the thinnest sheathing and cheapest house wrap that money can buy." This person is referencing new builds here. And I have actually seen some really poorly built modern homes. And this person is right. They often use really poor flashing around the windows. I once watched a documentary about some new builds that had water infiltration around some of the windows and around some of the doors that resulted in some serious problems for the homeowners. Another commenter said, walk the neighborhood and ask neighbors what they think. Join community pages, read reviews, hire a third-party inspector, investigate the subcontractors building your home. In the end, all houses could have issues, but it's somewhat less likely in a new construction. Many people in my inner circle have bought new, and only a small amount have had issues, which were then covered by warranty. Well, I'm happy to hear this, but that's not always the case. Some warranties really aren't worth much. Another commenter said, I've never had any problems with my new build in California. I've also been inundated with so many ads from lawyers trying to sue builders. I feel like you'd have to be pretty dumb to mess up something that would be a pretty easy class action lawsuit for the whole neighborhood going against you. Another commenter said, many of the problems are actually caused by poor subcontractors who are doing the actual work. This is why a builder in one area can have terrible reviews, but in another be great. Different subcontractors doing the work. However, it is still up to the builder to make sure they are doing the work correctly. What you want to look for is a builder who stands by their product, encourages third-party inspections, and whose warranty team is responsive. Also, if the neighborhood already has homes up, talk to the neighbors and try to get a feel on how it was working with the builder and how common issues are in these homes. Well, this person has some interesting thoughts. Regarding subcontractors, I went through this with my mother. She built a new home, and the builder really did try to find some of the cheapest subcontractors. In fact, one of the subcontractors had a trailer being pulled by an old garbage truck. It was really, really interesting to see. This next person said, where new home builders get you is the stuff that comes with the house is often the cheapest, such as carpet, vinyl, etc. They use cheap standard paint also. Well, this person's right. A lot of builders use really cheap flat paint, and the carpet is usually junk. A lot of times you'll be lucky to get a few years out of that carpet. And a lot of the appliances are often terrible. My mother's new build came with a garbage disposal that didn't last long at all. I went on eBay and I bought her an open box, top of the line garbage disposal that had so much insulation that it was almost silent when it operates. The next commenter said, people just like to hate. All houses were new builds at some point, but if you like inheriting inevitable problems, then get a 20 to 40-year-old home. Another person said, new homes around me all feel cheap. Low quality cabinets, flooring, and windows. Within 10 to 15 years, they will all need to be replaced. Lots of corners being cut. The next person said, I worked with a person who hung cabinets for a home builder recently, who told me they were given 24 hours to hang all the cabinets in a 5-bedroom, 4-bathroom home. Needless to say, quality suffers in those situations. The last comment that I'll share with you came from someone who said, buying a new home is like buying a new car. If they perceive you as being naive and non-confrontational, you're going to get worked. I personally know there are some million-dollar homes out there being built with the quality of an impromptu survival shelter. That is really, really sad to hear about. Can you imagine buying a $1 million plus home and having that kind of build quality? I guess some Americans are willing to tolerate that. What do you think about all this? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing to the channel. I want to extend a special thanks to everyone who has subscribed to this channel. I want to also thank all of my channel members. If you would like to become a channel member, there is a link in the description beneath this video. You can read more about the different membership levels. Please also check out some of the great books I suggest you consider reading in the description below. I've included Amazon affiliate links to these books. As an Amazon associate, I earn from qualifying purchases. Stay healthy and wealthy. I'll see everyone in the next video.